Hoi hoi! I'm hiking back the trail for the last day of the Juliana Trail. And today I'm combining two stages, hiking 28 kilometers all the way to Tolmin. The first stage is 20 kilometers to Soci, where there will be some bars and restaurants. And hopefully I can take a break and have a drink. And then it's only 8 kilometers to Tolmin, where I started the loop. So I'm very excited. I heard there's some kind of festival, so there will be boats on the river. And I'm looking forward to see what that's all about. The trail is lots of ups and downs today, lots of hills, but not too high, only 600 meters at most. So there will be a lot of climbing and descending, hopefully in the shade, because it looks like it's going to be a hot day again. But I had a hearty breakfast. Bordeaux is really an amazing place. I'm not really used to such a luxurious accommodation, usually staying in hostels, but this was a really nice treat, and the breakfast really was restaurant quality, and it was absolutely amazing, so highly recommend. And a lovely couple as well, so amazing hosts. But anyway, I'm making my way back to the trail now, 1.5 kilometers back to the village. It seems shorter than it was yesterday. Yesterday I felt it was, I was a bit tired and felt a long time, and now I'm almost there already. So hopefully the trail will be mostly in the shade, lots of green, and I'm going to enjoy this last day on the trail. Let's hike! It's not that hot, but still, it's always nice to dunk your head. I didn't realize it was here already, but I'm going slightly off trail to visit a waterfall that falls 62 meters across the rocks, all down. It's 10 minutes off trail, and it's supposedly very beautiful, so I don't want to miss out. That waterfall was amazing. Not because the volume of the water, but because the water came down light as a feather and painted the rocks in so many different colors. It was absolutely stunning. It wasn't very busy, there were a few other people, but not that many. I imagine in the weekend it will be busier. But the air was cool, so a great place for a spot to take a break, which I did of course, just to take in the views. And on my way down I saw a big fat snake, which was amazing. The first snake I've seen, not the second one, but the first I got a good look at. But it was too fast to see what exactly it was. Not that I know much about snakes, but a fascinating sight anyways. So now I'm continuing my hike to Soci. It's still about 12 kilometers, so it should be doable. And hopefully the trail will stay in the shade because it's getting hotter. I keep thinking that these signs are the name of the village, but I think it's more like a welcome and not the actual name. So let's Google it. There's maybe 10 houses here, but it's a village with speed bumps and I absolutely love it. Because those speed bumps tell me we care about you, and I find that care quite touching. Even if it is all on gravel road, the climb to Seneca viewpoint is not too shabby. So, not to be underestimated. But I'm almost there, and I've decided once I'm there, I'm having my lunch break because I'm getting a wee bit hungry. Five more minutes. That I can do. So I think here on the left is Soci, and then in the valley on the right would be Tolmin. I think I recognize the church with the candle vending machine and the graveyard on the edge of the city. And that would be right, because according to the guidebook there's only one big mountain between the two. And that would be that one, I think. There's also a Juliana Trail stamp here. But I just noticed if you want stamps you have to bring your own inked pad. Because while the first one on Yeza Mountain had an ink pad in a box, all the other ones only have the stamp, so you have to bring your own ink. That viewpoint was absolutely amazing. It was such a gorgeous, gorgeous view. And it's quite strange being able to see both Soci and Tolmin, and to know that you still have 15 kilometers to hike. I could hear the music in Tolmin, so there's definitely something going on there. Hopefully it's still going by the time I get there. I've had a nice long break, and now I'm going to descend into Soci, and then there's a shorter climb around the mountain to Tolmin, and I will end up near the river where I bathed the first time around. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this time because it's a bit cooler, but I just might. Well, apparently expecting a descent was premature because I'm climbing again, but hopefully not too far. I've had enough of climbing. I wonder what this is. An old mine entrance? A bunker? No idea. Could be an old bunker. I see some concrete in there. 800 meters, Seneca Mountain wasn't that high that I expect a large temperature difference, but the lower I get, the warmer it gets. So the thought of swimming in the Soci River is getting more and more appealing. It can't be any clearer than this. This is the right trail. Now there isn't a supermarket in Soci, but I pin my hopes on a petrol station because I don't feel like sitting in a bar or a restaurant for half an hour, and hopefully at the petrol station I can buy some yogurt and a quick snack. Well, that's the first. The trail goes right underneath the house. And that lake looks very appealing, and if I can find a bench, then I will find my way to the snacks I just bought. Tolmin, the last 8 kilometers of the entire trail. Can I just say it one last time? I miss my ice towel. When I get back to the Netherlands, I'm going to buy a whole stack of them. I had a feeling there would be a running event soon. Hopefully not today, but perhaps this weekend. I have a sneaking suspicion it's not a good time to be on trail. Despite all the sweat on my brows and cheeks, the climb is not too bad actually. It's quite doable. The only annoying thing is the party boat blasting music through the entire valley. I prefer peace and quiet, but as I'm nearing Tolmin, I'm not sure that's in the cards anymore. Well, I guess that was it. The last climb of the Juliana Trail. I can see Tolmin through the trees, not too far off. So it's now descending, hopefully all the way to the end. And I'm not complaining. Nope, one more itty bitty climb before the end. Just to get it out of our systems. This is not how I imagined my hike to conclude, with that god-awful noise. Hopefully the concert won't last till midnight. I was actually contemplating earlier taking the bus and train to Ljubljana right away, but I didn't want to commit to that because that's quite stressful if you have to hike on a schedule. But now I'm really reconsidering if there is a bus to Ljubljana or a train. I haven't really looked into it yet, but I might just take that option. It would appear that the concert is somewhat outside Tolmin. I've turned a corner around the hill and the noise isn't quite as bad here. By the way, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but when I'm tired, I get a bit grumpy. And I think this was the case. So I had another chocolate bar and my mood has improved somewhat. Soci river, as beautiful as ever, but it's a wee bit cold for a swim, so I'm going for a shower in my lodge. So I've closed the loop. I'm back on familiar territory on my way to Tolmin. I'm staying in a different hostel this time, not Hostel Paradiso, because I wanted to try something different. However, the hostel doesn't have a kitchen, so the first stop is the supermarket to buy some food for tomorrow, and then I probably have to eat out, which is not a hardship. Hoi hoi! I made it to the hostel, which of course does have a kitchen. I don't know why I thought it didn't. And breakfast is included. So the things I bought for breakfast, I ate them as dinner, because really I'm too lazy and too tired to go out again. Apparently outside Tolmin there's a rave going on. I can't hear it from here, but the hostel is fully booked, so probably after midnight or later many of the ravers will come and crash here. For now, I have the room to myself, and there are two cyclists, but there are still 3 more beds to be filled. So I'm sure they will be filled somewhere after midnight. Today the trail again was absolutely amazing. I've seen so many gorgeous, gorgeous things. The waterfall was extremely beautiful, and also the lake at Soci. It's just so beautiful. But again, I'm a wee bit tired, so I'll give you the final thoughts on the trail and the tips I want to impart tomorrow. I'm traveling to Ljubljana tomorrow, quite early. The bus leaves at 8 o'clock because it's a direct bus and it takes about 2 hours. There's a later bus, but it takes way longer. So I'm going to Ljubljana and explore the city a bit and gather my thoughts and give you my final thoughts and tips of the trail. See you tomorrow. Hoi hoi! I'm in Ljubljana right now in a private room in a hostel, so it's very comfortable. I did all the touristy things, climbed up to the castle and climbed the viewing tower, which had an amazing view of Ljubljana and the mountains in the distance. Walked along the river and saw the bridges with all the locks on them, very impressive, and also some of the statues. Had some food and local cuisine, so also had a nap because I was quite tired. And now I'm ready to give you my final thoughts on the Juliana Trail. And overall, I enjoyed the trail very much. There were very many beautiful sections, gorgeous waterfalls, woods and rocks, and especially the moss-covered rocks that is our favorite of mine. So overall, I enjoyed it very much, and I'm glad I hiked the whole of the trail. But if you're interested in only a few sections, well, it's hard to pinpoint my favorite sections because every section has things to recommend it. But I can tell you my least favorite sections were from Tarvisio to Bled, with a 12 kilometer on a cycle track and the industrial feel of Jesenice. So if you are inclined to skip a section, I would skip Tarvisio to Bled, because while the other sections are really highlights, those sections are more of a slog that you have to get to get to the good parts. The trail is not that hard technically. There's no scrambling. You never have to use your hand and feet to get up on a rocky section. Though I do recommend trekking poles for balance, especially for someone from the Netherlands. I'm not used to elevation, so every time I go into the mountains, it takes some getting used to, and I always take my trekking poles. The elevation can be a bit strenuous, but this time for me, what really made it hard was the heat. I didn't expect to be hiking the trail during a heat wave. Fortunately, just about any village in Slovenia has a public tap and And of course there is also the cemeteries where you can always get water. And if all else fails, there are also some taps at houses where you can ask the owner if you can get some water. So there's always plenty of water available on the trail. I think I hiked for the most with 2.5 liters of water, and I was always able to replenish that if that wasn't enough. But especially during the cooler days, about 1.5 liters was more than enough for me. On the main loop, all the stages begin and end in villages, so you don't have to carry a whole lot of food, although there are a few villages that don't have a shop. So I would recommend that you carry at least 1 day of emergency food. I used the Cicerone guidebook, and that indicated in two occasions that there was a shop in the village where locals told me that hadn't been so the case for years. Although the guidebook has been published in 2023, it's not 100% accurate. And that is why I recommend always a minimum amount of food, just in a case of emergency. But for the other sections, there's plenty of food along the way, supermarkets and restaurants and bars. You can always find something. And I always, when you go on a vacation, I think you should always try some of the local cuisine and get to know a country, not just with the hiking, but always the culture and the food. As far as waymarking go, the trail is generally well waymarked, although the quality of the waymarking varies from section to section. Some sections are absolutely idiot-proof, and other sections are a bit more scarce with the waymarking. And for instance, if you don't see any waymarks, you're just supposed to carry on and follow the road. And of course, it makes sense because with a loop this big, I'm assuming that different volunteers handle different sections and keep up the waymarking there. So it's only natural that it varies. So what I do recommend, in addition to the waymarking, to download the Juliana Trail app, which has the GPS track. And in some cases, the waymarking deviates from the Juliana Trail app, but overall it's quite helpful and quite accurate. What I did notice is that the GPS sometimes had trouble locating my position in the app. It was sometimes slightly off. And I also had downloaded a separate GPS track, but that was, I think, an older version, or maybe the one who had uploaded it hiked sometimes his own hike rather than the official Juliana Trail, because sometimes it diverged from the Juliana Trail app and the waymarking. So you have to make your own choices with that regard, but a GPS is certainly very useful and a useful addition to the waymarking on the trail. Because again, I've hiked a lot and I know my way around and I know how to read waymarks, and even I got off trail sometimes. Sometimes because I was distracted by the beauty or just simply watching a river, and sometimes because there simply wasn't a waymark at the junction. So the Juliana Trail is waymarked with signposts and paint marks on trees and rocks, and generally it's quite good to follow. Now, during the hike I used the Cicerone guidebook, and it was published in 2023. And even though it's not 100% accurate with regards to the shops in the villages, it was very, very useful, both in preparing my hike and booking the accommodations and determining which stages I was combining and which I hiked as a single stage. I did not use it much during the hike. The route description, I didn't read it while I was hiking. But I did read it in the morning and in the afternoon preparing for the next stage. So highly recommend using that guidebook with you on the trail. The maps are also quite useful to give you an indicator of where you are, in addition to the GPS. Now, let me know if you have any other questions that I haven't thought of, and I will answer them in the comment section. As to what's next for me, well, I hiked this trail as a test to see if I was ready for New Zealand. I've been having hip issues since last September, and I'm just about healed, but not quite. During the early days of the trail, I felt my hip, right hip, quite a bit, and the last few days, not so much. I do still feel my hip is a bit weaker than it should be, so I've decided to postpone a Te Aroa to next year to give my body the time to heal completely, because when I am in New Zealand, I want to be able to give 110%, and right now I think at 95% healing. So, and also, if I were to go to New Zealand, I'd have to go in September, late September. So that's about 2 months away, and it would be very stressful to make all the last minute arrangements and subletting my house and such. So I've decided to postpone it. But that doesn't mean, of course, that I will stop hiking entirely, because I haven't really done any treks since last September. So I have some catching up to do. In August, I'm going to Iceland, where I will be hiking the Hellismannaleit, Laugavegur and Fimmvörðuháls. The Laugavegur, of course, is the most famous trail in Iceland, very popular. The Hellismannaleit, not so much. It's not so well known, it's a bit quieter, but just as beautiful. I did a hike before in 2018, and it was really what inspired me to start a vlog. Until then, I've mainly kept trail journals, and Iceland was so beautiful that I really couldn't capture it in words. So I thought I should start videotaping my hikes and to share it with people, and to encourage people to go on adventure as well. Apart from Iceland, I also have my eyes on the Congo Nile Trail in Rwanda. I don't know where I heard about this trail. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and I see a lot of posts about a whole lot of different trails, and this popped up, and I just thought, I want this. It sounds like a real adventure. I can't remember the length exactly, 220 kilometers, I think, along the Lake Kivu. I haven't exactly the details memorized, but it's still on my wish list. I do intend to do it with a guide, because I found in Costa Rica that a guide can really enhance your experience, and a guide is knowledgeable about local culture and customs, and it can be really useful. So when I get back to the Netherlands, I will contact the guides and hopefully make arrangements to hike this trail in December. And I will, of course, be sharing this with you. So if you have been following my journey so far, thank you for joining me. And I hope you will join me on future adventures as well. See you the next hike.